Hi guys, welcome back. So teams are out for England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales for the last round of Six Nations games. Should be a fantastic Saturday, so we'll get stuck into that in a minute. Just very quickly, in the description below is a new link for the England Rugby store. Use the code RugbyAnalyst10 as previous to get 10% off any rugby stash, obviously including the new British and Irish Lions stuff as well. Please don't pay full price. Click on the link, then add that code in at checkout to get 10% off. Does save a little bit, worth doing. Don't use the old links from any previous pre-lockdown videos because it's a new platform. So just to let you know, that's going to always be in the description below, get 10% off. Anyway guys, sorry about that. Straight back into the rugby. So the England team is out. I'm going to go through it first because they haven't played yet. So this is the one I was obviously most surprised about. And I'm pretty happy. It's a very experienced squad, very settled. You know, Jones has really gone for mainly tried and tested, but there's definitely some question marks. The big question at fullback, Furbank gets the nod. Jones loves Furbank, absolutely loves him. This is his chance. He played against France and it went very badly basically. He's a good player. Let's see if he can step up to international play. We don't know yet because he hasn't played a good game yet. So this is the game against Italy. He's in there. I would have preferred Malin's in there. Many of you guys wanted Watson there. But I understand Furbank's had a lot longer in the squad to train than Malin, so that makes sense if you're not going to play Watson at 15. And I wanted Watson at 14 just because I think he's a slightly better winger than a 15, and him and May I think are so on form. I think they're right on it. I wanted them on the wing. So question over Furbank there. Let's see how he goes. Into the centres, who is going to play 12? I was kind of hoping Ollie Lawrence would go straight in there, but fair enough. He's gone with his experienced centres, and Slade is playing 12. Now that makes sense, as in Ford Farrell is two playmakers, Farrell Slade is two playmakers. Slade's played plenty of 10 in his time. You know, he's won a Junior World Cup at 10 for goodness sake. So this guy is a good playmaker, but it's a new role at 12. He's used to playing 13, so you know he will have to do maybe a bit more tackling, maybe carry a bit harder at times. But playing for Exeter, he's shown he can do that, and he has improved in that area. But a big test for him. Joseph gets his normal slot at 13, and it is a very experienced 10, 12, 13, if not in this configuration before. Wings, as I said, May and Watson, really looking forward to seeing them play. Farrell's back at 10, which is maybe where he should have been the whole time. We'll see. And Youngs gets his 100th cap, so great for Youngs. 100 caps, well deserved. You know, he has performed well for England. You could argue his form for Leicester hasn't been as good as, say, Robson or Spencer's. Not that even Spencer's in the squad. But for England, he rarely lets them down. But he does need a big game. He gets his 100 caps, but he does need a big game because there's pressure from behind. Robson on the bench, which is great to see. Okay, into the pack. Mako, George, Sinclair. It is England's best front row. It's their premier front row when they're all playing well. So let's hope they go well. In the second row, Toje obviously, but thank God, Johnny Hill, he gets the nod. He is the second best second row in the country, and thankfully in this case, Eddie Jones agrees. Yules is on the bench, as we thought Yules might be in and around, but he doesn't start. It's Hill, so that's great. And then the World Cup back row, why not? Give them another chance, fine. I wanted to see Willis in there potentially, but he's going to have to wait because Earl's on the bench. Fine, Earl's been brilliant this year, and he probably covers 6, 7, 8 a bit more easily than Willis does at the moment, although it must have been, you know, a coin toss between the two. So yeah, a bit of pressure on Earl as well. Pressure on all these back row guys, which is great, which is what they need. Then on the bench, probably the three most exciting backs I've seen on an England bench for a while. Robson, Lawrence and Thorley. Can't wait to see those guys go on. Where will Lawrence go on? Will it be at 12 or 13? That will be interesting. And also, who covers 10 will be interesting. I reckon Slade would probably cover 10 with Lawrence going into the centres. Anyway, it could be Furbank. Let me know what you think of that team. Do you agree, disagree? I imagine not everyone's going to completely agree, especially with Furbank at 15, maybe no Willis, but very experienced, should be good. A lot of these players are quite rested as well, especially those Saracens players, but they haven't played yet for England, so 50-50. I think they're going to go really well, to be honest. Looking forward to it. Okay, let's go through this Scottish team. There were some changes with players coming back in who weren't available last time. Stuart Hogg being one of the main guys, the captain, coming back in at 15 as expected. Kinghorn moves to the wing. Van der Merwe drops to the bench, which is a bit of a shame not to see Van der Merwe get another start, but I understand why they've gone for the experience of Kinghorn, but I think I would prefer to see Van der Merwe stay there, because Kinghorn covers a lot on the bench anyway. Darcy Graham's there, which is great, so he looked good last time. And Lang and Harris, I want to see that combination a bit more. I possibly didn't see the ball playing from Lang that I wanted to see. Now that Finn Russell is there, it will be interesting to see if Finn Russell uses Lang as a decoy, or they do work well together as a double distributing partnership. But great to see Finn Russell back, obviously. As soon as he came on last week, everything changed. It just got far more exciting. So it's going to be like that for the whole 80. I imagine he won't go off. I'm sure Wales will be looking for some interceptions, but if they go looking, they could get in trouble as well, because if Finn Russell's passes go to hand, then often they're the killer pass anyway. So we've got Ali Price there at 9, then Sutherland, Fraser Brown and Xander Ferguson as normal. That was good. Cummings stays in, which is great, because I thought he was impressive last time round, very physical. Then in comes Johnny Gray after his rest, so that's cool. Scott Cummins, Johnny Gray, probably their best second row pairing. I think Toulis drops to the bench. Then Richie, Watson as the flankers. I thought they were fantastic, especially Watson last time round. Blade Thompson comes in at 8, which is interesting. I think there's an injury to Matt Ferguson, but they did want Blade Thompson in a while ago, but he was injured, I think, for the World Cup. So let's see how he goes. And on the bench is kind of the normal guys, really. Like I said, Toulis dropping to the bench. Dupree on the bench as well. Might see Scott Steele from Harlequins get a cap at 9. Adam Hastings, and then Danger Dwayne, Van der Merwe rounding it out. But they've got to deliver. As you guys say in the comments, it's all very well having this excellent team personnel-wise, but they've got to deliver, and this is a great game to do it. Wales not going great at the moment. It would be a big scalp. Do you think they'll do it? Let me know below, and let me know on that team. Looking at the Welsh team, well, Pivac's definitely shaken things up. They needed a bit of a shake-up, really, because it wasn't good enough last week against France. And, they're going to have to play well if they're going to beat this Scottish team. And the back three straight away look stronger, with Liam Williams coming back in. They struggled under the high ball. He should sort that out. Josh Adams staying in. Lee Halfpaying staying in. And then North dropping out of the squad altogether, which I think is fair enough, because I didn't think he looked amazing, to be honest. In the centres, we do have a change-up again. Owen Watkin coming in, getting his chance at 12. Davis staying at 13. Tompkins dropping to the bench. A little tough on Tompkins, I think. I wanted to see the two the other way round. They didn't really use Tompkins that well either. They were using him as a big guy when he's not a big guy. And, Owen Watkin may have more success playing that role, to be honest. So a little harsh on Tompkins. Let me know what you think there. Bigger partners Gareth Davis this time. A shame, because I think Webb is injured. So I think that weakens them a tiny bit, having to call in Williams onto the bench, who's, not shabby, but of course I think Webb's their best 9. So that's a little bit of a problem there, I believe. Front row, I could see this coming, really. They've shaken it up. I didn't think their front row were good enough last week, so they brought Thomas Francis into the front row. Obviously just won a stack load with Exeter, so that's useful for them. And we see another English-based player, Will Rowlands, come in. Looks like they were just waiting to bring him back in when he was fresh and ready to go. So I think they think that's their best second row, Rowlands and Alan Wynne-Jones. Corey Hill on the bench. I think they would have stuck with Corey Hill if they thought him and Wynne-Jones were their best combination. Back row, a little bit of a surprise with Wainwright dropping out completely. Didn't think he was that bad, but Lewis Hughes comes in to make his debut, so that's very useful for him. Then Tipperick and Faletau rounding it out. And then the bench, as described, Patchell staying on the bench, James Davis staying on the bench, not Wainwright. That's interesting. Anyway, guys, let me know if you think this Welsh team's good enough to beat Scotland. It's a big crunch game. I can't quite call it, to be honest, looking 50-50 to me. But it's quite a big one for reputation for all these players and momentum as well for both teams. Let me know what you think. Finally, let's look at this Irish team that have to go and beat France in France, which is tricky. One change, enforced change, Ringrose. I think he broke his jaw, knee to the jaw, which is really unlucky because he was playing well. Luckily, they get Henshaw in, who's pretty much as good, and he's playing well, and he's fit this time. So that's great for them. They do have to reshuffle a tiny bit with Farrell coming in onto the bench, so big chance for him. But really, it's as is. You couldn't really change it because they did play well. But of course, this is a bigger test. Stockdale's going to be tested a lot more at 15. Pressure on Murray potentially. Sexton, some people umming and erring on Sexton at the moment. Keenan gets another shot. We see the back row of Doris 6, Connors 7 again, who were great last time. But they're going to have to play out of their skin to beat France. But it's a settled side. They've got a chance. Will they do it? I don't know. I still favour France in this game. Let me know if you think they should have selected differently and if you think they're going to do it. So there you go, guys. Those are the teams. Let me know what you think. Any changes you'd have made. Any final predictions, put them in the comments as well. Also remember the link below to the England Rugby store. Use the code RugbyAnalyst10 to get 10% off. Don't pay full price, please. And until after the games, I will catch you then.